Really?
The most important piece.
Really? I'm looking for the toilet. Yeah, that's all right. I just tear this out here and replace it at our house. As long as I get the sledgehammer out. Gentlemen, I'm going to the shopping game this Sunday. Lighthouse. Oh,
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, I was stopping in to cool down from working at the Live Steam Railroad today because we have our invitational this weekend and people coming from area clubs. So I'm letting the air conditioning cool me off.
Sounds pleasant.
And since my computer reminded me, oh, it's that time, I figured, well, I'd check and see who or what is up today.
Well, it's good to see you, Ken.
Hmm. Ah, yeah. So, how are things on your end?
Well, right now, pretty smoky. We've got 4 forest fires off to the west. And the smoke is blowing in this direction. And it's really hazy.
Yeah, because you're in which state?
Colorado.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you're getting. So are there many fires in Colorado or is it mostly further west?
Um, there are three that are due west, probably within 20 miles.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
And and the smoke pattern right now is bringing them down the front range. So Boulder and
Hmm.
Denver are getting really smoky.
Oh, yep. Yeah. My wife lived out there, Fort Collins for about 15 years and still have some family. I think there's one down in Loveland or west of Loveland. And for about 25 years, um, he was basically a fire chief with the forest, you know, whichever way they do that, because basically from about June to September, he was more away than at home managing a fire somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's where the big one is just due west of Loveland.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll have to check the map now. Now that you mentioned that, I'll have to go check the map afterwards and see exactly where it is relative to his place. Uh,
Yeah, it's kind of along the road from Loveland up to Estes Park, Highway 34.
oh, right along 34. Okay. I'll have to tell my wife that.
Yeah, I think that's the boundary. I think it's south of it, and 34 is kind of the boundary
Mm,
on the northern edge of it.
okay. Yeah. No, but the only thing I was going to really mention, so I can't remember how this plays with your stuff, is okay, yeah, with the 5.0 and above releases, Jammer, I went to, Java 11. So what we're
Right.
actually finding is a lot of people are finding that Java 17 is easier to find and install nowadays. And then for some, um, they've actually been using 21. And I was just going to report that, well, we know a couple of things extremely minor that don't work the same way between 17 and 21, but we're really trying to see, okay, does this actually break anything? And so far, we're having trouble finding test cases that prove, okay, yeah, it does it this way with the one and that way with the other, but it's not like we're trying to do any real deep, organized, thought out testing. It's just, okay, some people are running with this, some are running with that. If you get something weird, we'll look at it.
Yeah, I haven't tried 17. I've been following what people have been saying that, and in fact, I think for some things, you can't even get 11 anymore. I think some of the Linux distributions won't let you have 11. You gotta go to 17 or 21.
Yep. Yeah, that's really what keyed us to start looking at it and going, yeah, well, I guess maybe because even when we went from 8, I think it was 8, yeah, to 11, we internally did some debate as to, okay, well, there's these other ones already out. Should we spend the time and try to see what the story is with the other ones? And it was just a simple matter of, okay, Bob and a few others were able to check things out against 11 and get a validation out of that, and felt, okay, well, you know, we'll go with that for now because at least we know exactly where that is. Though looking at, yeah, we may have to step it up again in another year or 3.
Yeah, from the hue and cry I'm hearing, it may be sooner.
Yeah, that's at least far as just being easy to install. Yes.
Yeah. Um, it is the Jamrai, they run continuous automated tests. Those aren't good enough.
Uh, that's a classic case of the automated tests tell us exactly what we've tested. And I think officially the test coverage is considered, statistically considered somewhere around, see, last I heard it was somewhere around like 57% of all lines actually covered in a test somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'm not sure how that really, that sounds low on one hand, but then again, it's actually a lot better than a lot of projects, is
Yeah,
what I was told.
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
And
I know
in general, go ahead.
yeah, unless you got 100%, yeah, you can't be really sure.
And even there, since it's a matter of the underlying library type deal with, the Java side, it's questionable as to how accurately, rather, all it could really do for us is tell us that, okay, it doesn't break anything, but that's still not necessarily guaranteeing that, yeah, things are working right. It's just all the different things you've tried to figure out, trying to test, it hasn't broke those. And that's where I kind of lose it a bit, tracking exactly what does this mean. And I'd have to get a better rundown from Bob, because him and, oh, who is it? Trying to think out there. Um, is most likely the only people who really stay up high enough on, okay, what is different with each of the Javas to be able to tell, okay, here's where it's at. I think a lot of it is we're still using things that may have become depreciated within Java, but the calls still exist. So effectively, yeah, everything links. And it's just that there are some things that there's better ways with the newer versions than some of the ways we've been doing. At least that's how I understand where we're at right now, is that in many cases, people had written little glue libraries between it so that we could get nicer features than what the existing was doing. But now the existing is actually stepped ahead of where we are. And yeah, we could have even easier times if we took advantage of it, which meant, of course, having to rewrite those small sections.
Yeah, I wonder in case like that, if it's not better just to do it when you come across them rather than to go search them out and try to fix them.
And that's, yeah, and that's basically what we're doing is we're kind of tactfully saying that, well, we think if you run 17, we're don't we aren't expecting problems. And if you run 21, well, we think there might be, but not to the level of, yes, we're expecting problems. It's more of a, yeah, there might be some uncovered cases in 21.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I imagine there gonna be a lot of people be upset changing to 17 or 21 so soon after 11, because I know people are still on 8.
Yeah. Well, in some cases, depending on the OS you're stuck at, that, yeah, that's the other. That was actually one of the bigger reasons for why only going to 11 is that we knew the number of systems that could still, that were out there that would run 11 that were not necessarily known to be happy with 17 or 21.
Yeah, sure. It's a case, it's all keeping up with the technology.
Yeah. So how are things going on? Okay, so let's see. At this point, which version of Cats is known to be running with which version of JMRI?
Um, Cats, 3.1. I've been doing some testing. Some of the layouts around here have been using a 3.1, which is, an improvement over 3.0. And it works with everything from JMRI 426 up to the latest. So it spans quite a range, but with the caveat that it still uses the old log4j library.
Ah, right. Okay, so haven't resolved that yet.
Yeah, that's on my list. The next time I do a release, I want to make sure I get that library problem resolved. I don't know how long the library that Jamrai is using, the SLFJ or whatever it is, has been out.
Yeah. Yeah, that I'd have to find out because I can't remember that story. The other thing that we've been running into is that, okay, somewhere in the recent versions, we updated what the library was that we were using for JMRI to Java to USB devices.
Hmm.
And we have run into one or two minor issues with the library, with those third party library that did do something a little differently than how the stuff that we had been using. And that occasionally we find that one of the other system interfaces, oops, we got to go make an edit here and edit there. And so far, it's like we went through and made mass changes along the lines of here's what we think it takes. And then there was a couple of leftovers that we weren't too sure of that it basically had to wait until a user who actually had the hardware for those systems ran into something and then we could quickly go, oh, okay, let's do this. And yep, next test release, it has, the update for that.
Yeah, from Cat's point of view, it doesn't know anything about those libraries, so I think I'm
Yeah, I
okay.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah, you are many layers removed from that. The only thing that might happen is that some people may, it would look to them like a hardware issue
yeah. And that's why I went
with,
to use
with
JMRI
the
as a base
connection.
level, is because I can keep that degree of separation.
Okay. Well, let's see if anybody else has any commentary.
I'm happy that there's more than just one.
Well, you say oh, that's right. I finished cooking my dinner. I have to go and kick the AC back on.
How are you doing, Rodney?
Yes.
I'm good. How about you, Ray?
I have been enjoying retirement. You remember how I mentioned the little DCCX issues last time?
Sure.
I figured them out with software.
Oh,
Yeah. So I've gotten 3 DCCX in different sizes up and running. So I'm happy. Now I can move on to the next stage, and that's to hopefully get JMRI and CATS up next.
mm-hmm.
At least I have goals. Still got to get my dad's layout out of California, and then I can really implement a few things on that. Saw that somebody had an issue with CATS earlier in our email thread.
Which issue?
I'm going to open that up right now if I get lucky. Something about powering up. That was the brief line that I got. Where did it go? Within yesterday and today. So it's not too far off. There it is. Nope. That's my group notification. Never mind. Wow, was it that far off? Oh, yeah. Bill Hebb. Is the PowerPoint presentation, specifically CATS from Herding 106, available anywhere?
Okay. Yeah, I responded to Bill directly, but I wasn't sure I wanted to post or not. I checked the files section of the users IO group,
Yeah.
and I put the PDF version is up there. So it's not the PowerPoint, but it's the PDF. But in case I don't know if he knew about it or not, so I directly sent him the PowerPoint version. So that's
Yeah.
kind of why I didn't want to post it publicly. I didn't know if everybody wanted to get the PowerPoint attachment. It wasn't that big, it was like 4, 5, 6 megs, something like that. But you don't want to fill people's
No,
inbox.
no, and those that really want it ought to ask you directly anyway.
So
But you know what I like is the fact that you did not send the PowerPoint, that you sent a PDF. And that's where I'm going, yay. Because they don't need to modify it. They don't need to edit. If that they found some issue or whatever within it that needs to be corrected or updated or whatever, that ought to go through you. Back to I do documentation in my background. And if you get too many people, too many hands in the soup.
yeah, well, in my case, um, I'm president of the local railroad club, and we had somebody come in and give a presentation, and his presentation was on what's the format that Open Office uses, ODT or something? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, he had done his presentation using I can't think of the name of the app, but he was using Open Office, and PowerPoint just couldn't handle it at all.
Right.
And he also had a PDF version, but unfortunately we didn't have the PC they were using for displaying didn't have Acrobat Reader on it. So, we were scrambling trying to get some. Eventually we got something that worked. And so that says to me that at least for PowerPoint stuff, they mostly work back and forth, but between like Open Office and PowerPoint, but not completely. So, so that's why I've been trying to put stuff as PDF, because I know a lot of people, you don't really have PowerPoint on a Linux machine. Your choices are
Right.
LibreOffice or Open Office or something like that.
Yeah. I have found also that once you went over to the Google world, it really didn't like coming back to the Microsoft world. I only like the Microsoft world in the sense of um, Excel and Word. PowerPoint is PowerPoint. I've gotten used to it. Um, I think those are the main three that I've ever used. I would like to use the database program, but I don't. It's not one of my priorities. The SQL,
Hmm.
and I found that if I'm going to make a database, I can use Excel,
Hmm.
multiple sheets, things like that. Works just as well. In fact, that's where my model railroad inventory and um, electronic stuff is being tracked, is within Excel. So it's like what you've done with cats. You've added it onto JMRI. You don't have JMRI. JMRI ain't running right. Cats ain't gonna run right.
Hmm.
They've got to talk right.
Yep.
And I got that from about a year ago when I started on the group on the threads. You were saying, if you don't have everything set up correctly, things are going to break.
Yeah, you're right. There's only so much that cats can do.
Yeah. It's reading it all from JMRI. You don't have the JMRI set up right. And and in my personal case, I'm not avoiding it. I'm avoiding it. I'm not there yet. Give me another, maybe next month I'm there, that sort of thing. But I'm really close. I'm, clearing my desk of stuff and I'll be on it. All the little projects are getting all cleared off.
Yeah, you think you got more time now that you're retired. Just wait and see.
I know. I know. I've been dealing with sidetrack hobbies, and I've been telling him, "Hey, you want me to come out and help in your move?" He had to move his the whole shop, the whole store. I said, "You want me to help?" There would have gone a week or three.
No, I think that what happens in retirement, people often say they don't know how they got stuff done while they were working, because they have even less time. But I think what happens is your priorities change. So a
Yes.
lot of that stuff you've been putting off for years and years and years, you can now work on. And so the things you want to work on still get pushed to the back.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's happening in the hobby projects too. Um, I've being involved in the hobby since I was two. That Athearn trains has changed up to you buy them with DC or you buy them DCC, and you either add the DCC or not. And if you do, there's another project for a few hours or days, whichever comes first. And And then you look at all your rolling stock and you go, well, now do I go back and change everything? 30 engines later.
Yeah.
I said, well, at least with the level of HO that I have, I can do that investment and get away with it because I can prioritize which ones that I want to do and which ones I don't. And then a lot of them are project engines anyway, you know, pieces. So you're going, that one's not going to become DCC. That's going to be parts. And then you go, okay, now what? And you look at 3,000 cars and engines in N scale and you go, no.
Yeah.
No. So I think that's been my resolve. I'll just turn dials and flip switches over an N scale and pretend I have lights over there. But other than that, yeah, we're still relatively healthy and moving along.
Well, that's really the important thing.
Yeah. Jeremiah, as I said, I'm just adding in some of my rolling stock that I've changed into DCC, and then I'm gonna figure out what direction to go with the layout that I showed you last month, and see if I can do anything with it without having the layout here yet. You know, doing it simulated.
Yeah.
If I can get through the simulated and happy with that, I think then the attachment to the actual layout will be easier. And then you can tell me I'm wrong.
No, I think that's a good plan. That's you can do a lot with simulation. It won't, there will be glitches, let's face it, when you actually start doing the attachment. But at least you'll get a lot of the, you know, the major problems I think worked out beforehand.
I figure if I get a lot of the basics out of the way, then when I go to attach to it, the attaching will be you know, if I flip a wire wrong, okay, that's easy. At least I can find out from the simulation over to the real that I've got a wire wrong. But if you just start into it and go, okay, I'm all attached, and then you've got 30 wires wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like everybody else is on hold. I've got to get ready for a meeting at 5, about half an hour from now.
Yeah, you're on West Coast time.
Yeah, I know. I'm one of those strange things. Yeah, West Coast fire time. Yeah, it's still burning over in California. Trying to breathe the smoke yesterday was horrible.
Well, I can sympathize because I'm outside of Boulder and we've got 3 fires burning in the foothills above Boulder and Fort Collins.
Yep. Colorado is under flame also.
It was bad enough we were getting smoke from up, you know, Oregon, Washington, and I think it was British Columbia was coming up and down. Now we've got our own, which is much heavier.
Yeah. All right, Rodney. I'll catch you maybe next month.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Yep, you too.
Okay, Rodney, actually I went and looked and saw the fire map to see what you were saying about, yeah, just north of 34. It's a pretty big one.
Yeah, I think
And
it's yeah, I think it's up to it was 5,000 acres earlier. I think this morning it's probably quite a bit more because they don't have it contained yet.
yeah, my wife's cousin, he's oh a little bit south of that. And just on just you know, get to the right map so I can make sure. Yeah. Okay, because he's just outside of Loveland on the west side and basically at the base of the first range. So he's not all that far.
No, he's pretty close.
Yeah, it was impressive when we saw his house because you don't see that many houses with sprinklers in all the rooms, and he's got about, I think, a 3,000 gallon cistern in the basement, to supply that, which also has sprinklers on the outside. But given the line of work he was in for so many years, he knows you do this, you stand a chance.
Yep, he's got a chance.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you're in the Boulder, you're outside Boulder, or
Yeah, we're about 7 miles or so east of Boulder.
yeah, I think she's got a different cousin that actually lives in Boulder. But yeah, but as she's told me before, yeah, the way the wind blows, you get a fire anywhere along the range there, the whole front gets the smoke.
Yep, because it can't go west.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, it was nice to hear what he was saying about first trying to get all things running in simulator mode, and then he'll deal with the layout later, because that's really a nice technique for when you're learning, because that means you don't have to worry about any of the problems that the real layout might have, as far as wiring or interconnections and all those settings that you can ignore for at least the time being if you're able to do all the sorts of other work simulating.
Yep,
I wish
I
more
agree.
people did that with JMRI.
Yeah, and it's nice with the use of the tables and stuff. And if you want to simulate a hardware event, you just go into a table, and click something and that simulates what's happening on the layout.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, uh-huh. Of course, I'm also getting texts from my wife as to, I told her, oh, I'm doing this, and she's giving me other information relevant because, of course, um, my wife was in Fort Collins when the Thompson flood happened, and somebody else that she was talking to happened to mention that. So she's not too happy about some of those memories either.
No, that was a really nasty flood.
Oh yeah, yeah. But okay, well, I know Dennis has been listening for a while, but I don't know whether he's got any issues or just checking in on stuff.
I'm listening in right now.
Yeah, because at the moment, I'd say I think we've covered some of the things that we're when both Rodney and I actually happen to hit the same session. Um, we try to catch up on some of the Jamurai cats interface issues and stuff. But I think we got past that. So if you've got anything to add, ask, or whatever, it'd probably be a good idea. Otherwise, we may wrap up since, well, there's lots of other things to do.
Yeah.
And I finally cooled off from sweating outside. So
Yeah, I
what's-
do. I do have some problems here trying to get CATS and JMRI to work together. And I posted my last email a couple days ago, but I'm still stuck and don't know what I'm doing wrong because maybe I'm just thinking in the wrong direction on what I really need to do. I wonder if you can help me on it.
Sure. Where did you post it, Dennis?
On the group's IO, CATS. And you replied back to me, but I'm still not sure what I'm doing wrong.
Okay, what's the title of your topic of your thread?
Let me check and see here. Installing CATS with 2 to 3 separate installs on JMRI.
Got it. Yes, I see.
So I got part of it running. I don't know, listening to your conversation here about CATS 3.1, I'm not too sure which version I'm on now, 3.0 or 3.1. That's one of the questions is, does that make a difference right now? But I can bring up CATS. I can bring up Designer, and I've been playing with Designer, but for some reason I can't see any of my panel file, or not the panel files, but my blocks and sensors and all of that be pulled up in Designer. And maybe, that's the part I'm having the confusion on. I've got everything defined in JMRI, which I'm running 5.8. And I don't know how to bring up those uh, objects that I have already built in JMRI in CATS. I come up with blank screen in CATS.
Okay.
I'm glad to show it to you. I'll share my screen.
No, let's just start with some basic fundamentals. Jamurai doesn't know anything, or I'm sorry, Designer doesn't know anything about Jamurai stuff. So consequently, will not see if you've defined, for example, a sensor in Panel Pro, and you
Yeah.
bring up Designer. Designer doesn't know anything about it. Designer was intentionally designed such that you could take it and you could build your panel on a computer that's not attached to any layout or any JMRI. Okay, so
Okay.
so the interface between CATS and CATS/Designer and JMRI is through the sensor and turnout and stuff tables. Um, so in Designer, you have to define somehow. If you want to say, for example, like an occupancy detector, you have to tell it. I have to define that detector, and there are multiple ways of doing it. One way is to take is to copy the sensor address, for example, out of JMRI and enter it into Designer. And you do that, you'd pick the end of track you want the block boundary, and you would then look at details, and from details then you could enter a JMRI sensor address, and you could put in the raw address, For example, if you're a local net system, you could put in LS, 409 or something like that. And then you have tell whether occupancy, you get an open or a close. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, particularly if you're using the latest version of CATS 3.0, and you won't have 3.1 because 3.1 has not been published yet. So the latest you would be on is 3.0. Or the other way of doing it is to, in JAMRI, let's say you define a sensor, go into sensors and you say, I want to define a sensor. And you go into the sensor table, you go into a sensor and it says, what's your number, what's your sensor, your range of numbers. And then you can give it a username in JAMRI, right? Okay, so the thing to do in Designer then is when you define the sensor, don't give it the JAMRI LS409. Instead, put in the username. And then when you load that panel into CATS, CATS will ask JAMRI, do you have a sensor called, whatever? So that's where the connection is. Now, does that make sense? Okay, Dennis, I assume you're pondering, by pulling up some screens, trying to figure out what I said.
No, not yet. I was waiting to get a response back from you. I can pull it up and let you look at it.
I don't think we can share screens. You can try.
Let me try and see. Oh, you got it disabled.
Yeah, well, I'm not an admin on the Zoom calls, so
Oh, that's great.
um, once upon a time, somebody on a previous call, somebody was able to figure out how to get a screenshot and post it to the chat. You might try that.
Yeah, I would not. What would you want to see?
Well,
I could do that, but what would you want to see?
um, I don't think it's from what I read from what you've got, it's not so much where what your layout looks like or anything. I think it's more of a case of understanding where things are in cats and in JMRI.
That is an issue I'm still wondering about myself if I've got that set up correctly. That
I think if the programs are running, you got them set up correctly. I think the issue is locating where things are. Okay, let's see if I can talk it through you.
okay.
Okay. Can you bring up designer?
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me minimize you here. By the way, I restructured myself and I'm running the default folder of JMRI, for 5.8.
Okay.
I told you I was in an earlier message that I had many folders, so I decided maybe I need to back off here until I figure out what I'm doing right or wrong. So,
Mm-hmm.
so what do you want first off?
Okay. Pull up launch designer.
Okay, it's up and running.
Okay. Now go up to, have you created a panel?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Then go up to file, open, and open that panel.
Okay. For some reason, you do not remember my directory that my panel's in.
Yes, that's right. It doesn't.
So that puts me back a little bit here trying to figure out where I put it.
And you can change that there. And I describe in there a way to do it on the you can edit the designer.bat file, and on the end of it you can put a little string that tells you where you're going to store things.
I remember seeing something like that.
And again, that's kind of, there's a long convoluted way, but in order to remember it, you have to put um in order to remember where your folder is, you have to store your folder. You have to store that information somewhere.
All
And
right.
okay.
Okay, I got my folder up.
Okay. Can you load one of the files that you've created?
How do I do that? I
Okay.
thought by bringing them up in cats,
No,
they would be there.
let's start with designer.
I'm sorry, I'm in yeah, it says dispatcher here. Designer dot bat brings up dispatcher.
Um, yeah, I don't remember what I call it. Um, let me do a quick check. I'll see if I can do it with you.
Oops.
Yeah, it says dispatcher panel. That's the title on the menu bar. Right. Okay. And so what you should have is you should have pretty much a blank screen. It's got a block of 4 squares in the upper left corner.
Right. And I added some information in there, just playing with it right now.
Right. Right. Okay. Now, and so, so that's your worksheet, so to speak.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you put a, if you put some, have you created a panel that has tracks and signals and stuff on it?
Well, that's what I was playing with, is getting used to how you draw the turnouts and that in the dispatcher.
Right.
Okay. But I have tried to do that, but this is where I get lost right now. I don't have Panel Pro up and running. Does that need to be up and running?
No, no, no. Designer doesn't know anything about Panel Pro.
Okay.
And the whole purpose of Designer is it's a standalone program that was designed so that you don't have to have a connection to a layout. You don't even have to have JMRI on the computer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, well, let's just do something really simple to get started then. Okay.
Okay.
Go to devices.
Okay.
And you'll see about in the middle of something called JMRI devices.
Right.
Okay, click on that.
Okay.
That list gives you a whole bunch of layout connections.
Right.
What are you using as your connection to your hardware? Is it LocalNet or CMRI or what?
LocalNet.
Okay.
LocalNet.
Then on your left, you will see, I'm sorry, not, yeah, why don't you click IS? See, there's a select box that has a checkbox
Okay.
in it. Click
Okay.
IS, click IT, those are internal. Click LS for LocalNet sensor, and click LT for LocalNet turnout. So you should have 4 checkboxes.
Hey, what about maybe it's not in here. Let me check that. Okay, I don't see it there. Okay, I got all those. I got IS, IT, LS, and LT checked,
Okay, then hit accept.
or add or accept. Okay,
Accept.
all right.
Okay. And basically almost after, whenever you get a pop-up screen, you almost always have to hit accept. Okay, now you've got now if we go back to the main screen, you got this black box that has a red box in the upper left corner.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Go to let's see what we need. Be details, tracks.
Tracks or track sounds. Track. Okay.
And that'll bring up another box.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just do a simple one. Click the horizontal checkbox.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, then hit accept.
Okay.
And you see you've got a box that now has a horizontal track in it.
Correct.
You just laid your first track and it's red.
Right.
The reason it's red is it tells you there's a problem with that track. And the problem is that you don't have it defined in a block.
Correct.
Okay, so
I've been watching 106 and a lot of the videos on this. So
okay. So the next thing you do is go to details again and go to track ends.
okay.
And notice the track ends, you got a left and a right sub boxes.
Correct.
Okay, let's put a block boundary on the left. So click the block boundary under the left box.
Okay.
Okay, then let's define the block. So click on define block. And you get another pop-up.
Correct.
Okay, now you need a block name. Call it anything, say call it B1. Okay.
Okay.
And your discipline, let's say you're running CTC. So click the box call that says the button that says CTC.
Okay.
Okay. Now, as you go down, notice you have just below it, you got an occupied report and an unoccupied report. this is where you enter your sensors. So let's say for Occupy, let's just do an internal sensor. Okay, so do you have a drop-down box that says none? Click on it. And you will see you now have IS, IT, LS, and LT.
Correct.
Okay, those were the layout connections we did a little while ago. Let's do an
Okay.
IS. So click IS,
Yeah.
okay, and it needs an address. You know, you could have, this is where you put the addresses of your local, you'd put your local net devices, your internal sensors. So let's just make it IS and put a 1 into the address piece.
Is that the
Okay.
physical address that I'm putting in there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, notice the next line says username, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Into username, again, something like block 1. You can, it's free form. You can do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
And
got
then,
that part. Yeah.
yeah, let's just arbitrarily, let's click on close. Okay.
Accept or close.
Uh, you see the,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You,
the
I
button.
got you. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then hit accept.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And for some reason that should have changed on, oops. Okay. And then you're back to the box that talks about the cursor. So hit the another accept button.
Oh, okay. All right. Track turn white.
Track turn white. Okay, now let's just save it. Do a file and do a save. Okay. And it's going to go somewhere, probably in your home directory. So you can either put it in your navigate to the folder that you want, or you just put it here.
Yeah, I'm navigating to the folder I want it.
Okay.
Okay. Done.
Done. Okay. And I'm gonna do the same thing. And I'm gonna call mine I'm just gonna call mine demo, because I'm doing everything you're doing, and put the .xml on the end of it.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Yep.
I
Put,
thought that was going to be an issue, and it didn't stay with me. So let me save that again. I saw that problem earlier. Okay, got the XML on there.
okay. Then push the save button.
Okay,
Okay. Now let's look at what you did. Launch cats.
okay,
And that'll bring up JMRI.
right. Select my folder that I have my panel file on that I want to work on. Now I am not automatically loading my panel file. I put a uh, icon to open the data file because I got several that I work on.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So have you launched cats, and you'll get another window that says dispatcher panel on the title bar.
Yes.
Okay. Now, before you do anything, go to the JMRI main screen, the one that opens up whenever you launch JMRI. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the one that you set up is what I'm coming up with. It has the cat's logo on it.
Right. Okay. And you should have a tools
Correct.
on the menu. Click
Yeah.
on tools.
Should my panels be open that I want to use right
Not
now?
yet. Not yet.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Because I want to demonstrate some here. So
Okay.
see, where you see tools, click on tools.
Go ahead.
Okay. And tables
Yep.
and sensors.
Okay.
And
Where
you'll
is-
notice you get this big table and it doesn't have anything. It has one line in it, which says like, is clock running?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And that's all that's there. Now go back to the cats panel. Okay. And
Dispatcher panel or
the one that unfortunately they're named the same. The one that you launch cats off of, the one that's associated with JMRI.
okay, I got.
Okay. File open.
Okay.
And open that file we just created in Designer.
Okay.
Again, you're going to have to navigate.
Yeah, the problem I have is what problem I always run into is Microsoft and JMRI have a different way of looking at directories. You follow what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the presentation of the directory finder, folder finder is different. Yes.
Yeah. So if I'm not in the right one, if I'm not under user, then I don't see JMRI. But what I'm coming up here is not coming up with what I thought I would. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's actually it's a Java issue. It's how Java creates those
Okay.
those windows.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't, I'm in the directory. It has my um, file that we just generated.
Okay, open it
Okay.
now. As soon as you open it, you should see a single track in the upper left hand corner of the dispatcher panel, that the cats panel.
No, I don't.
Okay, okay. So
Let me just verify I did everything right here. Hold on a
okay,
second. I try to open it again and it's blank. It's blank.
yeah, you're probably not in the right folder then, or you're not in the right file.
Okay, let me go back here. File, save as. Let me make sure my directory structure is right here. Yes. I'm in that directory. Yes. Overwrite it. Could not be created. Why? You can't overwrite a file that's there?
Um, First of all, where is that folder? Where's the folder that you're saving things in?
Okay, it's under C:, users, my name, documents, JMRI.
Okay, you should be okay. Um, it may not allow you um, because Java may be holding that file open. Save it as a different name,
Okay, let me do that.
something.xml.
Okay, I'll save it out. Okay. I come back to dispatcher, open it, and there's my new file. And nothing.
When you open it, you don't get anything.
No.
Okay. Okay.
This is where share screen works out real well.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Go back to the JMRI main screen, the one that says titled CTC panel.
Got it.
Okay. Then go to help and
Okay.
and system console.
Okay.
Go scroll to the bottom and tell me what you see on the bottom.
A lot of Java information.
Yeah.
I'm running Java 11, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine. That should work.
Okay.
Um, there should be a line that says something about Java exception or another.
Oh, you got a lot of reading here. You mean an error message, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't see any and coming up with an error message.
Tell you what, can you sweep that screen? Namely, move your cursor. Oh, okay. Try this. Do you see the copy to dashboard to clipboard?
Yeah.
Copy it to clipboard. Click that button. Okay.
Hey, hold on a second. Get back on here. You're talking in Zoom, right?
No, no. Copy to clipboard on the JMRI, the window that says JMRI System Console.
Oh, okay.
The one that had all those Java errors.
There's nothing there. It says copy to clipboard. Got
Okay, does
Windows help, general, license, file location,
okay,
check for
and
updates.
right, and then okay, there should be a system console button.
That's what I'm looking at. A system JMRI system console. That's where I'm at.
Okay, there should be a copy to clipboard at the in the JMRI system console window.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I had to be in the. I was doing the pull down menu. Okay, done.
Okay, now go to the Zoom window and bring up a chat. That's under more, I think, chat.
It's not going to let me do that.
Okay, try. Oh,
It says the message is too long. Hold on.
okay.
I can go ahead and copy that to a file, and then I can put it in the clipboard. Too much
Oh,
data as a chat text.
okay. You shouldn't need to do that. What you can do is go back to the JMRI system console window, the one that
Okay.
had those errors in it,
Okay.
and take your mouse and in the upper left-hand corner, hold it down and drag all the way to the bottom of the screen. And it should highlight all that text and make it blue background.
Yeah.
Okay. And then do a right click
Yeah.
and do a copy.
Okay,
Now go over to your chat
I'll try it again, huh?
and do a paste.
Yep, still too long. Give me a second here and I'll get it to you.
Okay,
I'm going to use snippet.
sure.
A little clumsy, but I think we'll get it there. I'm going to do this a little different. That's not quite, I'm losing myself a little here. Oh, okay, I was looking in the wrong directory.
Hey, Dennis, I wondered, you said that you've got, I'm looking at your message again. You say you use Zoom to work out kinks. Do you want to just set up a Zoom call between the two of us?
We can do that if, yeah, that'd be fine.
And then
I'm familiar with Zoom
and
because I
then,
use it on another organization. They're on 24 hours a day.
yeah, because then we could share the screen.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would work. If you want to do that this evening or another time or what?
Yeah, we can do it right now if you want.
Okay.
And why don't you send me the invitation or the information for how to get into your Zoom call? When you get it set up, send me an invitation and I'll click on it and get into your Zoom call.
Do I have your email? I can go directly to you.
Yeah. Um, it's Rodney Black 2000 at yahoo.com.
Okay, I can't write that quick. Rodney Black 2000.
Right. At yahoo.com.
Okay. All right, let me set one up and I'll send you an email.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay,
See you.
thank you.
Yeah. See you pretty soon then.